Getting married to a virgin is the toughest but sweetest thing in this world today. This is because to abstain from sex till marriage is actually the hardest thing for teenagers and the youth in this generation. Experience has it that sex is more pleasurable when the bride is not opened already to sex, and that is it increases the bond between the husband and wife, even as it also shows how trained and disciplined they are. A professional, Branford Wilson, has it that people who marry as virgins and inexperienced are likely to have more fun with their partners because every stage is an adventure for them. People who are virgins or have less sex or are pro to have sex are happier in their marriages with a great level of marital satisfaction. The great thing about sex is that it's different experience every time. One may not perform up to one's expectations at first sex time, but that doesn't mean the second, third, and on experiences will be the same. More urge, more satisfaction, more experience in marriage, Paul. Sex is not just an intercourse that takes place when two persons meet. It is a bonding that ties people beyond their imaginations. According to adolescent psychology research, an awareness of sexual interest and desire may develop during puberty stage, but that is not the full story. An interest in sex might depend on when someone is aware of their sexual interest and whether they are knowledgeable and willing to take what comes with it. That can also mean for some people that an interest in sex just never develops, or they have an opportunity and decide it's not for them. Exposure to certain things, places, persons, as the case may be, can increase the urge for sexual desire. That's why a virgin should mind what he or she sees with their eyes and hears with their ears. Whenever two people have sex, there is either satisfaction or regret. These days, it seems like everyone talks about sex and sex. Friends and even families, cousins, are all seemingly indulging in it, that at times one begins to reconsider. But your virginity matters more to you than it does to anyone else. That is an excellent reason to wait for the positive experience you desire at the right time, with full of mutual deep feelings and next level respect. That persons won't care about how many times you have hooked up before. They will just be psyched to get to know moments with you. In our society today, people no longer hold virginity to high esteem. They look down on people who are untouched and refer to them as novice or amateur or even JJC, Johnny Just Come. In some places, virgins are regarded as losers or nerds. They even refer to them as people who are not privileged, unlike the days of our fathers and forefathers when virginity was celebrated. In this our awkward generation, having sex at least once per week is a talk of town, that even those virgins, due to fear of mockery and pretend that they have had sex just to belong. The shocking thing is that those who marry virgins get negatively surprised and worried at them most times. Well, if you still haven't had sex for the first time, you should be proud of yourself. Life isn't a race and everyone's experiences are different. No matter your age, you should feel ready and comfortable enough to do things on your own terms. And there's no limit to that. Most vaginas are between 3 and 7 inches long, and vaginas can stretch longer and wider during sex, at childbirth too. Some people now depend on it as a means of making end meets and forgetting that the vagina expands and that what makes sex pleasurable is when there's still tightness, at least to an extent. Nowadays, girls now give their virginity as gifts, not minding who it is given to. Perhaps the most confusing question you will ever face in your life is, am I ready to have sex? And is it more complicated when one is in a relationship, or you know a kind of relationship, and starts to feel like there are expectations from the other end? But just remember that you never owe someone sex. no matter how nice they are or how much they depend on you, whether anniversaries, birthdays, or anything else. Yes, we know you're looking for a heavenly sign that it's time. The truth is that signs won't come from anyone else, it has to come from you. Having lots of sex before marriage makes the bearer compare their partners in the future with other persons they must have had sex with in the past, on how skilled or less skilled they are in the game. Any normal thinking human being will not want to be compared to another person, especially in a bad light. It is observed that sex in marriage promotes connectivity. This is seen where two individuals connect with each other as a result of having continuous sex. This is achieved when they both feel the same thing for themselves, and because of their feelings, the bond tends to increase. Not having sex can be a time to let go of social pleasures or pressures and engaging in what brings some pleasure and suits one other than sex. Just like what sexual activities offer to others, it can also be a time to create a deeper relationship with yourself. At this point, I guess some guys are thinking of the possibility of not having sex even at the age of 18. I admit it can be really tough. After all, it's normal to have the urge. How it is handled is what matters most. I believe that sex is an incredible, strong symbol of love between two people. It works like super glue. Once you have sex with someone, you're connected to them emotionally, physically, and even spiritually. But once you tear that bond, the rip leaves open scars where the glue once was. That is why casual sex never works in the long term. It just doesn't. I believe a relationship is best entered into with someone whom really you would be happy marrying. Contrary to this may not produce a happy ending. This is what my mates have failed to understand, that one can be in a relationship without sex, and that a very good one at that. The words virginity and sex mean different things to different people. Most importantly, the concept of virginity is a social construct, not a medical condition or anything that carries more meaning than what you are assigned to it. It is often used by the society as a measure of someone's worth or virtue. That is even clear in the language we use to talk about it, losing one's virginity. It implies not having it to yourself anymore. It's something taken or missed. There is not one definition of virginity for some. Being a virgin means you haven't had any kind of penetrative sex, whether vaginal, anal, or even oral. Others may define virginity as never engaging in vaginal penetration with a penis, despite having had other types of sex, including oral, stimulations, and anal penetration. However one defines it, the most important thing to remember is that you decide when you're ready to have sex and that you're comfortable with that choice. And when that time comes, try not to think of it as losing or giving something away. You're actually gaining a whole new experience. The question here is, are you ready? A virgin is a person who has never had sexual intercourse, or sometimes one who has never engaged in any sexual activity at all. It is a state of being chaste and untouched. Virgins tend to be better prepared for marriage than non-virgins because of excitement to enjoy new experiences. The non-virgins are worried about the future and have to make conscious efforts to let their marriage work if they so wish. But there are things you should know before you lose your virginity. Penetration is usually painful. Hymen breaks and causes bleeding. The physical body changes. There are sexually transmitted infections, STIs, and pregnancy, etc. The level at which you are comfortable with your partner will be the resultant connectivity, because a message is communicated and you have to give your consent to it before it happens. Be sure it is the right time. reputable average age, ready to be emotionally, physically, and spiritually tied to someone, and ready to face responsibilities. Anticipation is great, to be honest. What's the problem you are awaiting, especially when the patient dog eats the fattest bone? The issue here is we think everything has to be so fast food, fast turn, fast response, fast sex, but the fact that you're choosing to actively stay a virgin or celibate sometimes bothers some people. Though for some, kissing or seeing the nakedness of the opposite gender makes one impure. One may no longer be regarded as a virgin after engaging in anal penetration, fingering, or sex storing. It has to be noted that virgins cannot contact HIV/AIDS infection, which is transmitted by intimate interactions, though one may still be at risk with a blood infection through cut skin, etc., but it can form only 5% or less of HIV infections. To most virgins, love is not blind. It has some sense. Although it may be a little vision impaired, most virgins may have in one way or the other harmed their objects of affection in the name of jealousy or anger, etc. True love is calm, not violent and harmless. What teenagers call crush, infatuation, etc. are just unkind lust, and most sexually abnormal behaviors which tend to afflict harm are all born out of lust, not love. For anything abnormal provides harm to the biology of individuals. There is a lot of true love in the marriages of virgins. A woman who marries a virgin rarely complains of problems as often as the non-virgins. Sometimes, or even most times, in the interpersonal relationship, it is our perception of situation that created problems which ordinarily could not exist. Of course, there is a lot of fun and excitement for the virgin couple on the wedding night. Most men tend to respect their virgin wives throughout their lifetime, and virgins rarely have breakup marriages. Yes, I am yet to see a man who has divorced the virgin woman he married. Now, know this: the beauty of an innocent woman is indescribable. It is like new rose. Sex shouldn't be a casual, speedy affair. It is for someone you love and want to spend the rest of your life with. Let me tell you the blunt truth. If you have lost your virginity, be you a man or a woman, it is gone and gone forever. Not even Ctrl plus Z can bring it back. May I at this point remind you that sex is not the same thing as intimacy, love, romance, or emotional bond. One's perception of sex may be more complex. Some people may have sex with no strings attached. In other words, you should make sure you're comfortable with that fact that you're having sex and that the other person may not share any moral or emotional value with you. Well, if you're no longer a virgin, celibacy can be an option, which is abstinence from sexual relationships. Celibates, though they have lost their virginity, can take decisions not to have sexual intercourse again till whenever. The difference between celibacy and sexuality is that celibacy is a decision to completely abstain from sexual activities, whereas as sexual individuals may engage in solo or partnered sexual contacts without being sexually attracted. While there are many reasons people are attached to sex as pleasure, pleasing others, intimacy, stress relief, escape, or self-validation, as the cause may be, there could be other ways to meet these reasons without having sex. Not only does kissing release those happy hormones that help you bond with your partner, it can have an amazing effect too. Hence, kissing rather than sex can keep virgins and celibates moving till there comes the right time. In summary, I would like to encourage those out there who are still virgins and those who decided to become celibate. It is not easy because we are humans and we have feelings, we have immunes, and we have cells that are still alive. So in that manner, we are definitely going to be drawn to express our urges, but you have to remain calm, you have to remain strong, you have to you have to prove to yourself that you are capable of being in control of this, and this cannot be in control of you. You have to fight it, because sex is something that once you engage in, you just cannot avoid it. You can't avert all those feelings you had. You would want more, and it leads to a lot of people advancing and wanting more of sex and doing a lot of things that people are not even aware of exist in sex. So as youths, because this is mostly happening to our youths, our growing teenagers, fast growing teenagers to be precise, you have to make up your mind. And by doing this, I don't think by yourself you are able to achieve all this, but by God's grace. That is why God needs to be involved in your decision making. You have to pray for Him to help you. If He is not helping you, I don't think you can do it by yourself. That's why you have the Holy Spirit, and that's why you need to call upon Him for help, to help you to fight this urge, to fight this feeling, because it's our time, and this is the time that people are led astray. This is the time they make every mistake that they can make. So we should try to avoid those mistakes through prayers, through counseling, through reading things we're supposed to read, saying things we're supposed to see, and not the other way around. So thank you very much for your time. God bless you. I pray that the Holy Spirit will strengthen you as you enjoy this note. Thank you very much.